Let's go.
So we're all right. So we're gonna look to get started here. It's uh 1 o'clock Eastern time, 10 o'clock Pacific. So once again, thank you for joining us today and welcome, taking the time to spend with us. So this is leveraging CloudConnexa from MSPs. We're gonna go through a little bit of content and how this can best fit some offerings for your client base. So just as a quick intro, so my name is Nick Finnegan. I'm an enterprise sales and distribution channel manager here at OpenVPN. Alongside with me today is Sean Golritz, our technical pre-sales engineer. And like I said, today's session, we're going to dive a bit into OpenVPN's CloudConnexa and how it can help MSPs and IT resellers deliver simple, secure remote access and connectivity for your customers. So just a few housekeeping items. Lines will be muted, but if you do have any questions, certainly feel free to use the chat. Uh, just as a couple of agenda items. So I'm going to start with a quick, brief history around OpenVPN and the journey to Cloud Connexa, and then we'll walk through, exactly what it is and some of its key benefits. We'll explore why it's a great fit for MSPs and how it can support you and your customers. And then we'll wrap up with a use case showing how it integrates with some common business applications today. And then, like I said, I'll pass it over to Sean. He'll showcase a little bit of a demo of Cloud Connexa in action with some real world examples. So, like I said, we understand your time is valuable, and we'll look to keep the content delivery to about 30 minutes or so. So, with that, let's get started. So OpenVPN. So we're been around since the early 2000s. Launched as an open source project that offered a secure and flexible VPN protocol that quickly became a global standard for encrypted networking. And this protocol is actually now widely used by many other VPN providers today. With our community edition that is free, that launched shortly after, based on that open source implementation of the protocol, has over 60 million downloads today, and that number is continuously growing. So the community edition is quite powerful, but it is complex as it is command line driven. Does require some manual configuration, doesn't necessarily offer centralized user management, monitoring, or a GUI like our commercial products do. So then if we carry on, we see quite a bit more demand grow, in the 2000s for more business-friendly solutions, which is then when we launched Access Server. So in 2009, which is quite our most widely deployed solution for the last 15 or so years. That's quite cost-effective, self-hosted VPN with a web-based interface that includes commercial support, and that is pretty easy to deploy and available in a variety of environments. So anywhere from on-premise to containers such as Docker and Kubernetes, and then of course, major public clouds like AWS, Azure, and GCP. So then moving on after that, with the rise of cloud applications, managed services, and remote work, as we got more into the 2010s and early 2020, we took to market the newest and fastest growing solution known as Cloud Connexa, what we're going to talk about today. So the modern VPN as a service built for today's distributed environments. This provides encrypted tunneling and built on a multi-tenant network. Ultimately, an ideal application for MSPs to help provide secure remote access for their customers without hassle in a nice single pane of glass. So really quick, so Cloud Connexa, what is it? Cloud Connexa is ultimately uh, a dedicated wide area private cloud network, also known as a WPC. It can be connected to over 30 points of presence immediately and on demand over the globe. A main difference with this between Cloud Connexa and Access Server is the secure networking service that's delivered. Like I said, Access Server being more the self-hosted solution, Cloud Connexa removes self-hosting responsibility and manual deployment and management, while encompassing more foundational components around zero trust network access and essential security service edge capabilities. So like I said, this is really built for more of the modern workforce in today's economy. For anyone that is remote, hybrid, or on-site, both your teams and any of your customers' teams can work securely from anywhere, ultimately giving everyone the flexibility needed without an increasing risk of sensitive data being jeopardized. All traffic routed through Cloud Connexa is encrypted using industry standard protocols, typically running over UDP, but can also use TCP if network connectors or network connections do require it. With seamless integrations to a customer's SAML or LDAP directories, identification is always kept consistent. So with Cloud Connexa, you can grant secure remote access to private networks and resources with continuous zero trust enforcement. Zero trust network access, or a ZTNA, which I'm sure everyone here is familiar with, which will lean quite a bit more into this a little bit later, meaning trust nothing, verify everything. Only trusted devices and verified users can get access through Cloud Connexa. So what does that really mean? Every connection request is evaluated in real time based on identity, device posture, geolocation, and policy control. So even after access is granted, CloudConnexa will continue to validate user trustworthiness. So if the context changes, uh, for example, if the device is compromised or a user location does change, access can then be restricted or revoked automatically by the software. So with the enablement of role-based access, identity-aware policies, and ZTNA, gaining access to internal systems, applications, or data is granted only after verifying the user's identity, device posture, and location. So unlike legacy VPNs that give users broad, unrestricted access, once they're connected, CloudConnexa ensures that users are only able to reach the specific services or apps they've been authorized for and nothing more. So bottom line, this drastically reduces the attack surface quite a bit. So it does help prevent lateral movement within the network. And for you and everyone here as MSPs, gives you centralized control over that access with fine-grained policies embedded. Additionally, within those policies, there is enforced IDS and IPS, as well as some content filtering that helps block common cyber threats. And many of these features and enhancements can be set at the admin level, so you can ultimately configure what is appropriate to grant access through the VPN on each of your tenants. So each of your customers' tenants, you can kind of set those policies individually, which is nice. And of course, with an intuitive centralized management console, you can see here, right in that snapshot, CloudConnexa can really be an all-in-one platform for network and security that is mainly designed around simplicity, flexibility, and scale, and of course, with zero hardware involved. So how does CloudConnexa actually work? Like I mentioned, virtually dedicated WPC is created for your customers' organizations as a private network within one of the more than 30 global points of presence, or POPs. Each of those POPs are connected in a full mesh topology, offering high performance, low latency routing with built-in redundancy. And you can easily connect your applications and networks to these POPs using IPsec, OpenVPN, the OpenVPN connector software, or any of your lightweight virtual machines. Additionally, OpenVPN compatible routers can be used to tie into your on-prem systems into the fabric. And then from there, the dedicated workforce that you are supporting connects to the OpenVPN Connect app, automatically linking them to the nearest POP for a fast, secure access to the network. So in short, once you configure an initial network connector to route traffic through to one of our POPs, you can then begin deploying customer tenants rather easily. So let's then jump into why is this important for managed service providers and IT teams altogether. Just general ideas as to why it can enhance and give you some more ability to manage your customers more efficiently and effectively. So multi-tenant management, scale and flexibility, reducing overall cost and hardware, and of course having the best enforced security around everyday business with evaluated security, granular access, and whitelisting. With the UI of CloudConnexa platform, multi-tenant management is actually built right in, so everything can be managed and supported right from the centralized console, and easily segment each of your customers' environments as an isolated instance. So users, networks, policies are all separate to avoid any sort of confusion. And as an MSP, this gives you the ability to manage multiple environments with ease, and it eliminates the need and inefficiency of juggling multiple logins for each of your clients. And you can simply just add, a new Cloud ID or new tenant to set up each time and begin deploying. This is something that, like I mentioned, Sean will showcase in our demo a little bit later. So with the intuitive user interface, this does tie directly back into the quick ability to scale and spin up new tenants on the go. So with rapid onboarding, provisioning a new customer environment can be done in about 30 minutes. So pretty quick compared to so many other instances or legacy VPNs that might take days, if not hours or weeks to set up altogether. So with CloudConnexa, obviously this saves both time and variable costs on hardware. That is not only a huge demand of an upfront investment, but it also does incur ongoing expenses for power, rack space, cooling, right, and refreshes. The list goes on, right? So hardware, ultimately becoming a thing of the past. We want to obviously kind of keep more focused on what can be delivered as a service with CloudConnexa. So like I said, since CloudConnexa is the licensing is subscription based, your organizations, your customers will pay only for what they use on a monthly or annual basis, avoiding any sort of over provisioning and unexpected capital expenditures. So this ultimately, like I said, reduces the setup and configuration time and translates into, of course, a better customer satisfaction result. And with this, it does turn a lower cost of lower total cost of ownership. So by eliminating the logistical burden of installing any sort of hardware across multiple sites or having to do any sort of shipping, you also minimize the risk of any downtime from any hardware failures. So finally, as an MSP, of course, you want the best granular access that can be offered to secure client data and everyday applications for daily use. So let's just look at a quick use case as to how CloudConnexa can solve some of these common business application challenges. So what's the challenge you see, more often today, right? So compromised user data for business applications has become increasingly more vulnerable. Many IT security teams face this on a daily basis. There is just a needed layer of protection to ultimately protect each of these business applications. Two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication is really just no longer good enough. That was, quite a hit for some time, and most, if not all, cloud-based applications like Google Workspace, Microsoft 365, Salesforce, and many others alike, they need quite a bit more than that. With that stat there, a staggering 19 billion stolen passwords out there. This number is drastically rising with the direct correlation of more spread out remote workforces. That number is really only going up. Since many businesses and their employees now have access to corporate resources from a wide range of unmanaged devices, whether it be within a public or home network, coffee shops, airports, you name it, all across diverse geolocations, without any sort of centralized control, enforcing any sort of uniform security policies across all of these access points can be difficult for you as managed service providers, right? So any sort of legacy VPNs or maybe those that are just limited by scalability and flexibility, they really can't handle these scenarios well at all. So most of these will tunnel traffic, all the network traffic, both business and personal, just right through a single tunnel. So that, of course, just brings on quite a bit more latency, bottlenecks a lot of the performance, and degrades really just kind of the experience for end users, right? And it just, of course, hinders the productivity for those users and how they actually do their daily business. But really, at the end of the day, this also will force a lot of IT teams to choose between the security and usability. So really, like, how do we actually then look at, finding a solution for this, right? So, writings on the wall and kind of building the foundational base around how CloudConnexa was built on, right? So by enforcing the policies and capabilities of ZTNA as a foundational base within CloudConnexa, of trusting nothing and verifying everything, um, by combining zero trust network access with intelligent routing and cloud native architecture, you then get robust security and seamless connectivity without compromising performance or productivity. So every user, device, connection, this is continuously validated before accessing any sort of business applications that are critical to any organization, right? So this becomes the perfect balance of what may be needed for a modern MSP to support all of your customers and aspects without having to sacrifice the performance. And the biggest piece here that to notate is with the IP address whitelisting, only traffic from CloudConnex's secure connectors can reach your SaaS applications or reach your organization's SaaS applications. So even if credentials are stolen, they're basically rendered useless, right? They're not going to be able to, any attackers not going to be able to actually use those against you. And then by removing the apps on the public internet, this ultimately makes CloudConnexa invisible to any of these attackers. Additionally, with device posture and location context policy, they'll continuously check the location and device health. More specifically, for example, configuring Google's context-aware access and then Microsoft's conditional access policies to allow only connections originating from the IP addresses of your CloudConnexa connectors. This will effectively turn each of these applications and commonly used business applications into a private mode, right? So they're not visible at all. And then lastly, with the selective tunneling, you ultimately get the security of ZTNA without sacrificing performance, reducing latency, and of course, keeping the user experience smooth at all times. So just a quick visual before I pass over to Sean here, kind of how this ultimately shakes out. But obviously you see a user laptop that is not connected to CloudConnexa just does not have the ability to access the business applications. Ultimately, just not giving them any sort of authorization unless they have their credentials accessed through CloudConnexa altogether. So, so with that, Sean, I'll pass it over to you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Okay, thank you, Nick. Let me share my screen. let me know if you can see my screen right now.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, good. So we're going to get to the fun stuff right now. I'm going to show you the CloudConnexa admin portal, talk about the features, and then how we can get the environment as close as possible to zero trust. So when you log into the CloudConnexa admin, this is what you're going to see. This is basically the overview of what's happening on your network. It's going to tell you how many users are connected, how many networks are connected, and how many devices. And also you can filter those information down here and get a little bit more fine-tuned type of info. The very first thing that you're going to do with CloudConnexa, obviously connecting networks to CloudConnexa. You can connect multiple networks, or you can create different tenants, basically what we call WPC. So if I click here, you're going to see I have multiple WPC. These WPCs are completely independent from each other. So they don't share anything with each other. They don't manage the same thing, nothing. It's completely separate. But you can create the same thing here, different networks. As you can see, I have a network connected, and I have certain applications or certain resources available on this network. And we're going to talk about these a little bit more. You can see some of them are private resources, like my CRM or time card, and then some of them are SaaS applications, such as SharePoint, Salesforce. So you can basically, like Nick explained, redirect the traffic of your SaaS application through the tunnel, so create another layer of security. So the way that the applications work is basically you give it name. If it's a local resource, like I have crm.nobase.local, or if it's public information, such as such as our SharePoint. Our SharePoint is ovnlab.online, or Salesforce. So for a SaaS application to work in CloudConnexa, obviously you have to get the IP address of your connector and add it to the allowed IP addresses on your SaaS application. Most SaaS applications are going to allow you to do this. On the local resources, you can, or private resources, you have to add a DNS record. Either if you have a DNS server, you can add it to your own DNS server. If not, you can use CloudConnexa to add those DNS records here for the private application. This way, you can basically cloaking your IP addresses. You don't have to give private IP addresses to users. Users can just use the domain names to access the resources. Now, saying that, you can create users and groups locally here on CloudConnexa, but you can use your own IDP provider also by using SAML or LDAP, or even SAML or LDAP. Now, if you're using SAML, if you try to use a single sign-on with SAML, a nice thing here is that you can also use a SCIM with SAML and basically create all your or map all your group mappings basically here. So if I enable my SAML and use a SCIM after the configuration is done, you can see that I can generate token and then create my group or map my groups as well. Now, this is basically a short summary of how you can connect your network to CloudConnexa. Again, it's a little bit, I can really get into this, but right now, because I want to be respectful of everyone's time, just give you an idea. Now, when we talk about zero trust, like Nick mentioned, trust nothing, verify everything. Why we say that CloudConnexa can get you to that framework? Because you can set up a CloudConnexa the way that you can verify access, you can verify devices, you can verify location, you can do device posture, and then on top of it, we have IDP and IDS and IPS as well, and content filtering. So let's look at these. For example, location context policy. This is where you can say a user can connect from a location or a country, or they are going to be blocked. Like you see on the screen, I have my tech support people can only connect from US, otherwise they're going to be blocked. Now I can create this policy if I want to allow people to connect from only one building. Let's say that I have on-prem environment. I want to make sure that my users can only connect when they're sitting in the office. I just add the IP address or the subnet of that office here, and I can see allow from here, and then everyone else is going to get blocked. And I can do the same thing with obviously country as well. So I can choose the number of countries that I want to allow the users connect or block basically from those countries. And you can do it on everyone, or you can just choose a group of people. The next one is the device posture. This is actually, it was a high demand feature. The nice thing about device posture is that not only checks the device at the connection time, but also during the connection. So for example, if I set up a policy here and I say my Windows operating system devices, they have to have certain criteria. Let's choose antivirus here. And again, let's say that, in our environment, I don't know, ESET is the allowed antivirus. I set this up. I, as a user, connect from somewhere. My antivirus is working fine. I get connected. But something happened during the connection and my antivirus shuts down. I get disconnected right away, and I get a message that contact your administrator because your antivirus is not functioning properly. Now you can add multiple criteria for each operating system. You can allow or disallow operating system. So if I don't want to allow anyone connecting from Linux machines or Androids or iOSs, I can just uncheck this. Now, when it comes to devices, device posture is one feature. We have another feature that we call device identity verification. Now, with this option, the users can only connect with the authorized devices. So there are three options we can use here for the device identity verification: learn and enforce, or enforce. If we use learn and enforce, the very first time a user connects, the system registers that UUID of that device, and from then on, the user has to connect with that one device. But if we choose enforce, then as an admin, we have to go and provision that device for that user. Now, if we provision one device with the UUID, the user can only connect with that one device. Even here, as you can see, my default device allowance is 3. Even though I allow users use up to 3 devices, but if I choose enforce, I have to provision 3 devices for that user. Otherwise, the user can only connect from that one device. So they won't be able to connect from any other devices. Now, if I want to provision that device, I come to devices here. And as you can see, I can add device and add it for the users. As you can see here, that there are some devices configured here in my environment. Now, I mentioned that you can create different WPCs for different clients, different department, different tenant, however you want to do it. But let's say if you want to app certain resources for certain time between these WPCs or different tenants, that's where you can use App Hub. So I always give this example of that. Let's say that I have my accounting software and I have an outside accounting firm needs to audit my accounting application. So I can just come here and share that application with that accounting firm by giving their email address. They're going to get an email address. They don't have to be client of CloudConnexa. They get a 4-step instructions how to connect and use that application. At any time, if I want to remove that resource and don't allow them to connect anymore, I can just come here and uncheck that. Now, very quickly, I want to talk about the shield. This is a content filtering and IDS and IPS. As you can see, there are 43 categories for content filtering that you can choose. You can either choose by protection level, or you can choose custom and select whatever you need. Also, you can see that we have allow lists and block lists. So you can take advantage of that. And then when it comes to traffic filtering, you can use by priorities or by categories if you want to block any of these things or all of them. So that's basically IDS and IPS. So again, this was a very quick overview of the CloudConnexa, how you can share your resources, how you can redirect your SaaS applications through CloudConnexa and so on. Now, that being said, you can use IP routes and IP services as well if you decide to do so. I don't have anything here because I have no needs for it. But the best way, if you want to segment your network or microsegment your network and cloak the IP addresses, is obviously using the domain name. One thing I want to show you here, if I go to the logs and look here, as you can see down here, you can see you don't see any private subnets in my logs. So even if a bad actor get a hold of some credentials and try to log in or gain access to my CloudConnexa or this log, they won't be able to find any of my internal routes. So that's one of the nice thing about using domain names, because we can cloak the IP addresses and microsegment the network. So with that being said, I'm gonna open the floor for any questions you may have. You can just type it in the Q&A box, or you can just raise your hand and we can unmute you and you can ask the questions. Otherwise, I'll pass it back to Nick.
Great. Thanks, Sean. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to just snag your screen one more time. Okay. So yeah, so like Sean mentioned, if you have any questions, certainly feel free to pop them in the chat. We can take you off mute and ask them here. Like I said, I think we're pretty close to being spot on time with just under 30 minutes of the delivery. But I did just want to quickly highlight some next steps just based on our partner program as we wrap up here. So just a quick mention around any interest or potential in joining our channel partner program. There's no cost or entry to become a reseller partner. Those within our channel program, which are seemingly growing every day actually, those partners do enjoy quite a bit high resale margins based on aggregate tier pricing that we do offer on an opportunity by opportunity basis. We do have access to our LMS and partner training for you and any of your staff, if anyone wants to learn a little bit more about OpenVPN and just kind of get a little more credentialed around speaking points with OpenVPN and some general use cases there. We do offer unlimited NFRs or trials for both you and your customers. Free to try out, right? So the first few connections with CloudConnexa is always free. We can always do extended trials, for certain circumstances around larger teams if we do need it. But again, we ultimately want to put the the product in your hands and ultimately give you the keys to drive and just kind of figure, how does it feel from your end and see, what's so nice about it altogether. And then lastly, we do also offer, proposed market development funding opportunities for resale partners. So if you do want to look at doing some co-marketing campaigns and opportunities just kind of based on your branding, we'll certainly help fund your efforts there to kind of help drive more business. And then I guess that was the second last, but the last altogether would just be resellers and non-customers, of course, enjoy 24/7 on-demand support. So there's always somebody available to help you from a technical standpoint. There's rarely ever any downtime, but again, with 24/7 on-demand support, it is free. It is part of your subscription licensing. Obviously, we've seen some other providers put a pretty hefty price tag on this, so that is a nice benefit that a lot of our resellers do enjoy. So again, thanks for joining us. And just really quick, just for just continually expanding our partnerships, we are now offered and available through Ingram Micro as a distribution partner. So we've been on board for about 5-6 months. If you are a partner with Ingram Micro and you want to just continually do your business through them as a distributor, you're more than welcome to do so. We do have ability to source our solutions through there. And then, of course, like I said, you do gain all the same benefits going through Ingram Micro as you would through direct partnership. And obviously, we're happy to kind of accommodate any sort of partnership that makes most sense for you. So again, any questions, you can of course reach out to our team alias here, so partner@openvpn.com. And again, we hope you guys found this valuable, and we look forward to connecting in the future.
Let me see, I think we have one question here. Sure. What is the client component? Okay, Scott, is not the access server. We're talking about CloudConnexa. Access server is our self-managed product. that you have to install on a machine, an Ubuntu machine, or a compatible router on your environment. CloudConnexa will manage it. You just install a connector in your environment, and it can be on any operating system, basically, to get that connector. Now, one thing while I'm talking about this, since Scott brought up the Access server, we do a weekly demo on Thursdays that I get a little bit more into the product, and we talk about your use case. So if you have questions and you want to see it within your environment, how it's going to act, you can always join us on that demo. And I'll put the link in the chat box. So if you click on that, unfortunately, the form still shows Tuesday and Thursdays, but it's only on Thursdays. They're supposed to update it today. But let me put that in here. But I hope I answered your question, Scott. Okay, I don't see any other questions here. Nick, if you're talking, you're muted.
No, I'm good. Sorry. Okay, no, I think we're good then. So yeah, again, thanks everyone for taking the time. We certainly look forward to helping you and your customers. If you want to get in touch with us, like I said, certainly reach out to that email is there, and we will again, thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you, everyone.